Thank you very much. Let's see. Language hunt. So let me start with this question. How many of you guys speak a native language? You have your own native language. How many of you? Okay, good. So all of you could be guides for Language Hunt. And how many of you are trying to get better at another language? Okay, quite a few. That's very good. So all of you could be users of Language Hunt. So Language Hunt is a community between people that want to practice a language and people that want to use their time to help others practice the language. So the way it works is basically we want to create a community of guides. We want to vouch for them. So we interview them. We make sure they're kind of like nice, interesting people to talk to. We make sure we understand a little bit of their interests so that we can then allow you as a user or you as a guide to meet somebody with whom you have interest. I'm sure you're aware of a lot of other similar solutions. There is italki, Busuu, Tandem. They all have come to the problem from a different angle. Our difference is that we want to create in-person meetings. So rather than having people in a big screen in front of you on Skype or on whatever app, you can actually meet the person with whom you practice in person, which I think it's a big advantage for big cities. And that's why Language Hunt is active now in London and in New York City. The couple of guys are in New York, and I'm here in London, and we're trying to build a community like that. So the way the app works is that at the beginning you log in, sign up either with Facebook or LinkedIn. I'm not going to show this because I am already connected. And then you tell which language you want to practice if you're a user. So this is the user experience as a user. Let's say you want to practice English, and of course we will add all the other languages. And you can see here a list of our available guides. So the one important thing to understand compared to other solutions is that we want to reward people for their time. So it's up to a guide, so it's up to the native speaker that wants to be featured on the app to decide. If you can see here, Jen, she has a little coffee icon next to her name. And if you see Cecilia, she has a little dollar sign next to her name. That means that when she decided to be a guide, Jen and Gracelyn, they decided to do it just because they want to meet new people. So they are happy for the user just to pay coffee for them when they meet. Or if people want to do it a bit more professionally, like Cecilia, they want to set up a price for them to be paid. So it's kind of a market, right? So if you're good enough and you have great feedback and you can charge for it, and if you want to charge for it, you can. Otherwise, the minimum would be just to be paid coffee. And I think what we set up for London is equivalent to £3. So what happened is, let's say you, of course, this is a demo. So as every demo, there is a demo bug. So I'm not in the list right now for some reason. But let's say, luckily, we were already connected. So this is the discussion. To make it clear, so here, when you see me, I'm a guide. I'm an English guide. And as a user, I'm supposed to be, you can see the resemblance, I'm supposed to be Georgia. So this is me as a user. And so Georgia connects to the app, wants to practice English, and then starts to write messages to me as a guide. So originally, this message is, the message that you see there is pre-populated. So the first time you try to connect to another guide, it says, hi, I would like to practice my English. Are you free today or when are you available? I'm available. And you can say like at 5 p.m. It's very simple. You just have to say, I'm available tomorrow, over the weekend. And of course, you can edit the text and say something totally different. So let's say you say, hello, how about tomorrow? Right? And you send it. And of course, I'm sure you all appreciate this is very MVP, right? This is a very draft of the thing. We have been doing a couple of iterations on the app, and we just want to see that we get traction on the community, and then of course we will invest more and create a better app. So as much as I understand you will have a lot of suggestion on the app, I'm more interested about your suggestion about the concept because the app is going to go through a lot of iterations. So then I go to my email, and I will get a new message, right? At some point, eventually, when the network decides to push it. And anyway, I'll show you like this. I will get the message that says, hello, what about tomorrow? And then, of course, I'm mixing things up now. Sorry, here, that's the, yeah, these are one. Okay, so, and in the email I get a link. So I click on the link. So this is a good thing because at the moment the app is only available for iPhone, for iOS. So as a user, you have to be an iOS user, but as a guide, it doesn't matter because you just receive email. So if you have Android, if you have iOS, if you don't have a phone, it doesn't matter. You just receive this. And here you can see that I get the last message that says, sure, tomorrow is fine. And here I can write again, perfect. See you at whatever, XYZ place and time, right? And I send this, and again, demo app, but the idea would be that it would work, and you see here. And then, if you agree, the person has to pay, right? So that's what we said. So you get, right? So you get to this interface where you can actually write like card, expiration date, and everything. And of course, as every such marketplace, we get 10% cut. Or right now we're set on 14%, but we're going to discuss this with users and stuff like that again. And well, I can see my friend Wendy wants to talk. And once you pay, basically we receive the money. And then the guide will receive the same money minus the 10% commission that we receive. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Alfonso, did you have any specific feedback or questions that you wanted to ask?
Something that I would really like to pick your mind on is, I see that there are other alternatives. You know, Tandem is free, even though it's online. There is italki, which is an online community, as Busuu, which is an online community, and you pay for them. I would like to understand, in my mind, it's a little bit like as somebody comes with Airbnb, and you tell them, like, why would you do that? There is couch surfing, and it's for free, right? So what I'm trying to say is that, do you see a value in paying for your time and doing it for money, or do you see that, okay, if I do it for free? How do you see that? Because obviously the need is clear. Busuu claims 100,000 new users per month, and Tandem says he has more than 3 million users. So obviously there is this need in the market. But my question is more precisely the way we do it, by remunerating the guides and asking you to pay as a user. Do you see that? And meeting in person. So these three things makes us unique in the market. Meeting in person, remunerating guides, and asking users to pay. How do you see that? That's my precise question. And of course, any other comment you want to.
Hands go up all over the place. I love it. I'm coming to the front row.
I'm just curious about the difference between like the coffee and then the money. Like people differentiate themselves. If this is just sort of like meeting to chat and just sort of have a conversation, is the person who you're paying, is it expected that they're going to run you through like lessons and like what makes them so much better if it's just like a conversation?
Well, so let me tell you tell me if this answers your question. This is the scenarios I have in mind. So there are students coming to London every year, and by law, if they're not European Union people, they can only work up to 10 or 20 hours per week. Now, would you rather talk to someone, or would you rather work at McDonald's grueling hours and like smelling like fish, whatever, when you leave? So that's on the guide side. And in terms of users, I'm originally Italian, and if you go everywhere, like in Starbucks, in all the coffee shops, all you can see is like Italians and Spanish, and sometimes they have a degree, but they cannot work because they don't have a sufficient fluency in Italian. And a friend of mine was working in a place like that, in a fast food chain, and she would only learn Spanish. She was like, I'm freaking learning Spanish. I'm not learning English because everybody else was speaking Spanish. So for me, the way I see it is that if you come here and you're maybe, I'm picking Spain and Italy just because I know the languages, but probably Polish or whatever is the same, and you come to London and you don't have a strong network and you need to learn, I think this would be such a better use of your money, and it would be so much, it would put you up to scratch so much quicker, and then you would actually be able to do the work you came in for. And I met to another event 2 days ago, a Spanish girl, and she said exactly, oh, it's exactly what I want to do, because I speak a bit of English, I'm not fluent, and I really want to learn better. So that's the kind of market I see. And of course, if you have a friend who is Italian, you're practicing Italian, you don't need us. But that's you, right?
Right, but what's the difference between the person who just wants to do this for a coffee and the person who wants to get paid to do it?
Sorry, tell me this again.
So maybe I'm misunderstanding when you're showing the list of people you can go to practice your skills with.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Some are happy to do it for
Yes.
coffee, some want to get paid
It's
for
their
it.
choice. And of course, the idea is that as we grow and we understand better our community, we maybe be able to differentiate them better. We can say that, oh, this is actual teacher. She can do a more teaching thing. And this is just a person you can talk with. But at the end of the day, a lot of people come to London, they don't have friends. So we see it also as a way to meet friends. So that's why a lot of people are happy with just coffee.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Hi, thanks for that. I can see a lot broader application for this, not just languages. Before doing what I'm doing at the moment, I studied accounting for 4 years. A lot of my friends studied CFA to become financial analysts. So there's a lot of people in London that are doing professional qualifications. And sometimes it's quite difficult to form a kind of a study group. Maybe because you're not a particular course, you don't have access to material, or your company's not subsidizing you. So you do self-taught tuition. And a platform like that would be perfect, not just for somebody that's wanting to form a network around building languages, but also around getting a qualification in accounting or CFA,
Right.
or even LPC, for law practitioners.
I agree with you. In fact, actually, I'll try to be as quick as possible because this is getting a little bit off the map. But in fact, this app started as People Hunt. And we realized it was too broad, and we scratched it, and now we go to Language Hunt, because we realized that as an app, you need to be able in 3 seconds to say what it is, right? If you say it's an app to find everyone, it's a bit more complicated. But I would be more than happy to speak about it maybe later, if somebody has more question on Language Hunt. Otherwise, I can keep talking about this. So.
I just wanted to ask, what if you made it that that the app sees their level? Let's say they get a lot of likes, for example, and then if you get a certain amount of likes, then you can charge, so the person knows straight away this guy's worth paying for.
You mean like starting free, and then?
Yeah, everybody starts free, and you only can
Basically,
get
we
paid.
do the same thing. Everybody has to start at coffee level.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, coffee level.
We just want that type of people. We want people that are willing to pay a little bit for your time. It's our choice to do that. So we don't want to start at free. It's our decision.
No,
not
I mean
to.
coffee. I mean
no,
coffee.
exactly. Yeah, it's already like that. You start and you have to do a few sessions as coffee, get good feedback, and then you can move up a notch.
That's what I'm saying. So you can't straight away
No.
charge. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you still charge, right? Just to be clear, even if it says coffee, you still have to pay the app £3, right? Yeah, for coffee.
Okay, so I think this is great. I was in Paris and
We
didn't
need
have any-
guides.
So you mentioned about interviewing people beforehand. Kind of what do you do around that? Because
I mean, maybe interview is a bad word. We just chat with them, make sure that you're not like crazy people, that they don't come with an axe, and they're nice to talk to and friendly, and that's it, basically.
But if you kind of could you have like an interview process where you kind of step up a few gears so you don't have to do the coffee thing first? Like if you've done a lot of this thing before and you kind of want to meet new people, but
Well, eventually, I mean, obviously I forgot my crystal ball, but eventually, like 6 months from now, if the community is strong, maybe that will happen. At this stage, we want to start having everybody at coffee level. So, yeah.
Ciao Alfonso, sono Caterina, piacere.
Yes.
So I have a question, so I'm in languages. It's pretty cool what you're doing. The question is how actually you sort out users. Because you
Sorry?
how you sort out users. You just showed to
but
us.
that's the biggest trouble, right? This is why I'm here.
Yes. I mean,
So-
like we know in Couchsurfing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That there are like so many of tricky
course.
people. So what's happening here?
Right. Well, okay, you're asking two different questions. If you're asking, like, how do we go about finding people, That's in fact the biggest problem for me right now, and that's all I do in my life, right? So I harass people. I'm here talking to you. I'm trying to go to universities and other situations. Like, this is what I'm trying to do. If you're asking me, like, how do you make sure that there are no crazy murderers? Well, I guess because it's a meeting set up in a. I mean, if Airbnb can do it, and if they let you come to your house where you sleep, you certainly can meet in a coffee house. So I think that's the answer. So if you're in a coffee shop and you have an axe, probably somebody will stop you there.
That's a brilliant point to end it on there. So big round of applause. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And sorry,